We've all been there. Someone we know is in crisis, and we care about that person, so we want to help, but we also fear overstepping or doing the wrong thing. Silk ring theory provides a model for helping those in crisis while also acknowledging our own discomfort. This model works for all kinds of crises: medical, legal, financial, relationships, existential, and can even be applied to crises caused by racism and oppression. Psychologist Susan Silk developed silk ring theory after well-intentioned people said or did the exact wrong thing while she navigated her own journey with breast cancer. Here's how it works. Draw a circle. This is the center ring. The center ring represents the person or people directly impacted by the diagnosis, the job loss, the death, the breakup, or the family whose house just burnt down, or the community dealing with the aftermath of a natural disaster. Now draw a larger circle around the first one. This ring represents the people next closest to the crisis. These people care deeply for or depend on the person in the center, but are not inside the crisis themselves. Think spouses, life partners, children, or parents. Keep drawing rings and repeating the process as many times as you need to. In each larger ring, put the next closest people. Parents and children before more distant relatives, close friends in smaller rings, less intimate friends in larger ones. When you are done, you will have completed a complaining order. The rules are simple. The person in the center ring can complain, whine, and bemoan life's cruelty to anyone, anywhere. This is perhaps the single benefit of being in the center ring. Everyone else can whine and complain too, but only to people in larger rings. As someone who cares about the person in crisis, you likely have thoughts and feelings about how this crisis is impacting you, and it's fine to talk about that as long as you're talking to someone who resides in a larger ring than you. When you're talking to someone in a smaller circle, closer to the crisis, your goal is to comfort. Be supportive, listen, and help. If they make a request you can fulfill, do it. Ask how you can help, or better, just do. Drop off a meal, offer to walk their dog, take in their paper. If you do choose to speak, it should be to offer help or comfort. And remember, this applies not just to the person in the center, but for anyone who is in a closer circle or closer to the crisis than you are. So comfort in, dump out. So let's use this model to be a good ally to those who are suffering from the effects of sustained intolerance and oppression. Each situation is different, and lots of variables determine who fits into what circles. So do your best to see where you fit in to the complaining order. Using the current racial climate, you might choose to include all people of color in the center, or you might narrow it down to those in the Black community. Or you can focus in even further on a friend or group of friends you are particularly interested in supporting. As you go outward from the center, each successive ring identifies people who are farther removed from those who are suffering the discrimination, prejudice, and oppression. Don't forget to plot yourself in one of the rings, and then follow the rules. Dump out, comfort in. There is often discomfort in discussing racial issues, especially when communicating across races. Even if you're not in the center circle, you're still affected, and it's natural and healthy to process your feelings about the crisis and how it's affecting you, as long as you're dumping out to someone in a larger circle than you. You may want to tease out mixed feelings about some of the ideas proposed by those in the center. Go ahead, just do it with someone in a bigger circle. You need more information on the crisis? Consider reading books on racism and discrimination and supporting podcasts or lectures by minority leaders and scholars. Don't ask someone in the center of the crisis to educate you about the crisis or justify why they feel the way that they do. Don't offer advice, and don't deny the systemic racism that has been a part of our country since its inception. Just don't. If someone in a smaller ring than you remarks or posts or does something that you don't agree with, you may want to vent. Just remember to vent out. Then, comfort in. The easiest thing that all of us outside the crisis can do is listen. Listen to the people who are closer to the crisis than you are. Offer expressions of comfort or understanding that they are going through a tough time. Donate money or time to organizations that support their cause. Help someone who has been harmed or injured by injustices or who has been impacted by the fallout that the crisis has created. Educate your friends and family about what you've been learning. Call out racism when it happens in your presence. Participate in marches or advocate for meaningful policy change. And vote. Make sure you vote, but also work to ensure voting rights are protected for those who are often denied these rights in our system. And stand up. Stand up not just against cruelty when it's so in your face that you can no longer turn away or ignore it, but stand up against racism and inequality whenever you see it. Hopefully, this simple model with these simple rules, comfort in, dump out, will help you become more comfortable being an ally to anyone who is less fortunate than you.